The views and opinions of any of the guests of After Hours AM are not necessarily the views and opinions of After Hours AM, its hosts, its staff, or any of its affiliates.
Welcome to the After Hours program.
Are you ready?
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Now broadcasting live from the After Hours AM studio, Joel Sturgis and Eric Olsen.
Welcome to After Hours AM, everybody. A bit of a somber note. I'm Joel Sturgis, right along with me,
Eric Olsen.
And Eric, man, you know, we have, and you could talk about it if you want, brother, and I totally get if you don't want to, but all the prayers and everything else for your dad, and I would like you to, if you're willing to, give a briefing on what's going on.
Yeah, you know, we were just talking. The show, we haven't always been at our best recently, and most of it's my fault. I have been very distracted. We've mentioned it from time to time. I've been dealing with a lot of health problems, really with both my parents. My mother's been pretty stable. She had a stroke a couple years ago, so that's kind of an ongoing thing. But the real issue's been my dad, and he's had a cardiac problem. He's 84, you know, my mom's 85. And he's had congestive heart failure for a while. And now they did a procedure where they're trying to improve the function of his pacemaker, which in theory would improve the function of his heart. Well, when they went in there, because of his general weakness and just the way hospitals work, he contracted MRSA when they did the procedure on his pacemaker. And now it's inside. It's not a skin thing.
Yeah.
It's internal.
Can you maybe tell us, people aren't real learned on MRSA, what that is?
Basically, it's just the latest superbug. It's the latest bacteria that is very, very difficult to treat. And what they're saying is, in a normal person, he'd have to be on an aggressive IV run,
Sure.
not just oral, IV run of antibiotics for 3 or 4 weeks in order to get rid of an internal, you know, in his blood MRSA infection. But the really big issue is that he's so weak from his heart being so, I mean, it's only a 10% function. So you combine the heart with the MRSA, and they're just saying, this is it. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. And they're, you know, they're certainly still trying to treat it. They're trying to get rid of it, but they're saying in order to actually get rid of the MRSA from his body, they'd have to take out the pacemaker again, the one they just put in, they just swapped out a couple weeks ago. They'd have to take that out and all 3 lines. And the lines, I guess foreign bodies tend to attract the bacteria. So it's just sitting there on that thing. But they can't take it out because he's just too weak. Yeah. He wouldn't live through the procedure, and he certainly wouldn't live without his pacemaker for
Eric, man.
You know, for a day or whatever it would take to try to, you know, sterilize that wound. Yeah. So It's just this has been going on now. You got all real regular listeners have been picking up on, hints from time to time. This is going on for a couple years now in earnest, that things have really been tough. And we've just come to the end of the line. And of course, it's extremely sad. It's terrible. I've been very upset, but now I'm kind of, at least for the moment, I'm kind of coming out on the other end of it. And we're really just trying to focus on the positive. What a wonderful life and wonderful family and all these people who love him and all the things he's accomplished. And that's what we're focusing on.
And I ask again, everybody, to keep your dad in their prayers. And to keep you in their prayers, and keep your entire family in their prayers.
It's hard on my kids.
A lot of us, unfortunately, have done this walk, or will do this walk at some point, God willing.
Well, everyone will, but I know you have, and yours is worse, man. Your dad was only early 60s. Mine's at least in his 80s.
Well, that's true, but here's the deal: is I don't care how old the parent is. It still stings. It really does.
Of course it does. I was telling this to my son, the 13-year-old, who was just despondent, of course, when he heard the news. Yeah. And I was telling him I had a great aunt who lived to be 104. Her oldest daughter, who was in her 80s by then, still fainted dead away at the service. She was that upset. Yeah. She was that stunned and that shocked. Well, she probably shouldn't have been all that shocked. Her mother was 104, but it just shows you.
Well, yeah, no, I hear you.
I hear you. And it doesn't matter how old you are.
No, that old saying, no matter how old you are, you're still your parents' baby, is true. And you're always going to be your parents' child. So that, again, is tough. But like I was saying off air, this show, we love it, all of our listeners, and we love you guys to death. But the show does take a back seat to our families. So, if Eric does need to take a leave of absence, Greg, of course, will come in. But I just want you to know, Eric, that we all have your back in this, and that we are all here for you.
Well, I appreciate it, and I know it, and I really wanted to do the show tonight. I thought it was really important. Really, honestly, it's a great break for me, and it gives me something to focus on, and it gives me a place I can go and express myself. Sure. And know that there's actually people there who are listening. So I do not want to miss any more than I have to. We'll have to see how things go, because there's just no way to predict how, with the time frame and how this is really going to play out over the next days, and or even, they said it's even possible he could stretch it out even a couple weeks, I guess. So anyway, we don't want to belabor the point, but that's what's been going on. Yeah. And I am fully committed to really returning my full attention to the show. I love doing the show. I love working with Joel. I appreciate that he brought me in here now 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time already.
It's been a long time. And we've worked very hard. We've both been through quite a bit in that time period. But we are absolutely committed to making this show the best show it can be. And we're going to be making some changes, just tuning things up, getting a little more professional, just putting a little more time and effort into it, as we need to do, and we know we need to do. And that's what we want to do, because we love doing it, and it's fun, and we love you guys. And I'm actually not choking up. I'm actually choking. I have something in my throat, so let me swallow here.
Sure. Yeah, man. But again, we're all with you. All the prayers are there for you. And, of course, the door, Eric, is always open, man. You want to talk to someone that's gone down this road, I'm always here for you.
Thank you. So it's a complicated time, but, life has two sides, and we can't dwell on the negative. Everyone goes through it. That's the other thing I'm learning. Man, I am sure not alone. Every single person on earth goes through losing loved ones, and it's never easy. It's never fun, but it's just part of life, and we have to try to do our best and stay as positive as we can, and look to the positive. And I am determined to do that. And I really appreciate being able to come on this show and talk about things and talk about life and express myself. And I really appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.
In closing of this thought, one of rock and roll's greatest poets said, "No one gets out of this life alive."
And man, that is so true. And, we spend so much of our time, and that's obviously a large part of the appeal, the fascination with the paranormal. what goes on once we've crossed the veil. I mean, we all want to know. We all need to know.
Yeah, we
and
do.
it's comforting in some ways to think, well, to know, to believe that there is something beyond, even not even getting into the religious side of it. But you know, we've also said we haven't been shy about saying we're both pretty religious as
good
well.
Lutheran boys. Yeah, we're both good Lutheran boys.
We're good old Lutheran boys. So armed with that, in knowing that, hey, this is a really important milestone part of life, really hard, really tough, but everyone goes through it, and it's up to us how we handle it. I'm going to do my very best to handle it as well as I can. I've had to grow up, you know, you guys know I'm not young, but I have had to grow up an awful lot over the last couple of years, and especially over the last several months, and I'm just trying to look at it that way. It's a growth experience.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger, better person, and I need to be now, and I just need to reach a new level of maturity. My God, I'm a grandfather.
You are, but hey, man,
grow up.
Absolutely, and again, all the best, and we will keep you and your entire family, and especially your dad, in our prayers. But I suppose we should get to some news, huh? There's some great headlines floating around out there.
That's what the show's about.
I did not know that Rob Lowe, of all people, was a believer in Bigfoot. Did you know that?
I just learned it recently because he's got a new show coming out.
He does. Rob Lowe claims to have spotted Bigfoot. The actor told Entertainment Weekly that he came across the mysterious creature while filming his new A&E series, The Lowe Files. Wow.
With his son?
Yeah. The show basically follows Lowe and his sons, John, Owen, and Matthew, as they explore the Ozark Mountains with stretches between Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma in search of the wood ape. A wood ape is local, basically slang for Sasquatch or Bigfoot, Lowe explains. He and his sons went camping, and in a scene that is featured in the show's season finale, Lowe said they encountered a real live wood ape. Wow.
Amazing. Yeah, the show is takes on a variety of paranormal legends and haunted locations. It kind of sounds a lot like Haunted Highway. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I wonder
with Ozzy's son.
Yeah, I wonder if we can get Rob on the show.
I would love to.
We should try.
Like you said, the Bigfoot episode, I guess, is the conclusion. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Sounds like it'll be a cool show.
Yeah, I'd like to get him on. We then he goes on to say we had a incredible encounter with what locals call the wood ape, which is the Ozark again slang for Bigfoot. I'm fully aware that I sound like a crazy Hollywood kook right now, Lowe said. The encounter was terrifying. I was lying on the ground, thinking I was going to be killed, he recalled. Well, obviously he wasn't, because he's talking to Entertainment Weekly. Lowe also said he believes in ghosts.
Obviously.
Nothing strange, no tricks about it, but he really does believe that there is ghosts and Bigfoot. The show premieres on August 2nd, A&E. We're going to tune into that and see that. The Lowe Files.
Absolutely. And yes, 100%. We're going to try to get one or more of the Lowes on the show.
Yeah, that'd be great to get them on. And sticking with Bigfoot now, Bigfoot is wanted by the FBI.
I saw that. That seems... I don't know. Is this the real McCoy here?
I don't know. But so we're going to read what I was sent by the Statesman newspaper. The FBI to round up, FBI to Round Rock police. Bigfoot is one of the most wanted fugitives, they say. Round Rock Police Chief Alan Banks has received a special message from the FBI. The hairy man has been seen gallivanting around Round Rock trails and scaring people. Oh.
How dare he?
According to the City Park and Rec, which has been keeping residents abreast of recent Bigfoot sightings around Round Rock, top police officials got an email from the FBI stating he has been added, or Bigfoot rather, because we don't know if it's a he or not, so has been added to the 10 most wanted list. The Bureau is offering a reward of $500,000 for information leading directly to the arrest of the giant hair-covered being. According to the Parks and Recs Department, Bigfoot was last seen on the Brushy Creek Regional Trail and made loud, demonic-like howl sounds, according to the FBI. Wow, Parks and Rec first alerted the public 2 weeks ago that park rangers found strange footprints at the city parks and trails. Then video footage was released showing a mysterious large figure running on the Brushy Creek Trail. Recently, some Round Rock teens and others in the area have shared videos of their search for the enormous bipedal. Wow. Huh.
Here's the thing. If you click through, because I was researching this myself, I thought, wow, that's kind of amazing. The FBI now is acknowledging the existence. If you click through to those Parks and Recs links, they no longer exist.
Well, there is a poster, a wanted poster, at the bottom, and I did post that on Facebook a while back. Just shared it with people that, hey, you could get rich overnight if you catch them. And if you look at the poster, I love the description: age unknown, place of birth unknown, 8'10" is what the height is, 350 to 800 pounds. Well, that is not a big gap at all. Occupation obviously is unknown. Come on, none, they say. Well, scaring people might be considered occupation, all right? Come on.
Occupation. Gallivanting menacingly through the woods.
Hair dark, brown, black. Eyes brown, black. Hair, complexion hairy. Sex unknown, race unknown, nationality unknown, but they also say caution not to approach him because he is considered armed and dangerous.
Well, he could eat your face.
Well, he could, and that would be bad. Well,
it would be awful.
But then again, $500,000 buys a lot of crazy, man.
Oh, man, I'm tempted.
You got $500,000 running around.
It's tempting.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. So
I think we need to look into this one more layer and see if this is the real McCoy or if this was some sort of...
I'm going to call this Round Rock PD, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask them about this alleged Bigfoot case and see if it holds any kind of water. Maybe get them to come on the show with us here.
See why the links to Parks and Rec
why they're
no
non-existent, what's going on. Now, have you heard are you an outdoors kind of guy?
I mean, I am, but I'm not really a camping kind of guy. But I love to hike. I love to play sports. I love to run around outside. Love to sit out on the deck all summer. I don't know if that'll ever happen again, but I don't know if we'll ever have the time to sit around.
Yeah, who has that time?
Anywhere to do anything ever. But I love the outdoors. Although I'm not what you would call an outdoorsman in terms of camping and hunting. Though I do like fishing.
I did hear about there's a new tick out there. Or I shouldn't say new, it's probably been around for eons, but a tick that's come on the national radar. And I'm sure you've heard about this tick. It's the Lone Star tick.
Big tick problem up here in Northeast Ohio.
And the thing of it is that with this tick, the bite can cause what they call reverse zombie. Tick will make you allergic to red meat. So I dug into this, and of course I went to Snopes, because Snopes is the internet's,
they know stuff.
Location to find out fact from fiction.
They're the debunkers.
And it's true. According to them, it's true. Most commonly known as a Lone Star tick, this unnerving arachnid can transmit an illness with symptoms similar to Lyme's disease, as well as a substance that can cause you to be allergic to red meat. Oh, no more burgers, man.
Bizarre.
Wow. Man, that would suck. Oh, man, I love a good burger. I mean, I don't know what I do.
Although my younger daughter, the 17-year-old, just went vegan.
Yeah,
and
they all say that.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, she's stuck with it now. It's been a couple of months.
But here's the thing, though. I've met a few vegans, right? And none of them look healthy, in my opinion. I'm not saying they're not healthy, but the complexion just isn't,
I know what you mean.
They're kind of pale, and not that there's anything wrong with being vegan, but I'm a meat eater. All right, I'm a meat guy. Meat and potatoes, if I can get it, man. I'm all over that. But to get bit by this tick, and when I got back from my Bigfoot expedition, I pulled over 12 ticks off of myself.
Oh, my God.
Thinking to myself, oh, my God, hopefully none of them are that Lone Star tick.
Absolutely, because you'll have to go vegetarian, man.
I would have to go vegetarian, but I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it, man. Right now, because I have high blood pressure, we've talked about this in the show, amongst other things, I'm down. I really cut my red meat down to almost like once a week. All right, because that red meat is bad for the old ticker.
Sure.
A lot of it. So I've done that. I run on the treadmill. Yeah, I run on the treadmill an hour a day at about 5 miles an hour. That whole thing. Getting in shape, doing the whole vitamin thing. Because I've only beat up my body for the last 42 years. Now it's time to maybe make it right again. But anyhow, that's my one little perk in life right now. Is that one night I can sit down and have a burger. Right? Don't take that away from me. Don't take that away from me.
You damn tick.
The damn tick, and it is true. It's real. I thought for sure this story was going to be, whatever. Nope, not real. It is real. It is real.
That's weird.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Did you find out why? I mean, what's the mechanism whereby that happens?
It secretes some type of venom type stuff into you. And
right.
It causes symptoms similar to Lyme's disease.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, everybody knows that's been just a horrible disease. I know a few people with Lyme's, and, boy, they are not well. Over time, it just cripples people is what it does. And, of course, now they have the vaccine, I guess, for Lyme's you can get. But, anyhow, this will give you a similar disease, but only 10 times worse because then you can't have your Big Mac.
And eat it, too.
Yeah, and eat it, too. Yeah, exactly. So, it is pretty devastating that they would, that there's even a critter like that around here.
I think it sucks.
Well, I do too. Okay.
Like a tick.
It sucks like a tick. Sucks the blood right out of you. Oh, yes, here we go. You ever go to road trips? When's the last road trip you've been on?
Oh, let's see. Well, we went when we were on the West Coast.
How many miles did you put on, would you say?
Driving about Oregon and Washington.
Yeah, so
we put on quite a few, maybe 1,000.
Really? Wow, that is a long road trip.
We were driving all around.
Well, if you would have, there's some haunted roads evidently, and one has kind of come to the attention of everybody. A long and haunted road, drivers claim to have seen ghosts in a stretch of an unlit motorway that was a site of not one, but 2 murders. Wakehurst Parkway, runs along the Deep Creek Reservoir in Australia. Good eye, mate. And was the location of 2 murders, including one where the victim was dismembered before being kept in a refrigerator. Oh.
It sounds like Wednesday night.
It does. But the unexplained occurrences include motorists blacking out for no good reason, finding their windshield wipers suddenly switching off when it's raining, their car doors locked for no apparently good reason, and a ghostly pedestrian lights you up with a flashlight as it stands in the middle of the road.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that is creepy. That is, I see now, haunted roads are just one of those things, that kind of gets all of us, because who hasn't been on that road? A road like that, where it's real dark and anything could really happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, anyhow, the Wakehurst Parkway in Australia, again, runs along that Deep Creek Reservoir, which, of course, was the scene of a couple different murders. And it's also been the site of several fatal car accidents, according to the Manly Daily. The area was also the site of a particular gruesome murder, which saw Stephen Dempsey shot and dismembered in as early as 1994. This wasn't like back in the 60s or 70s. This happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
He was killed using a bow and arrow. He's like the last guy who got shot by bow and arrow, except for Custer. He's like the last guy to get killed that way.
And Deliverance.
And Deliverance. Shot by Richard William Leonard, who then kept the mutilated body in his freezer, again, just recapping, before killing another man just months later. So, yeah, you could go down this road and you may see the ghost. You might see his ghost running around.
Aye.
You might see Stephen Dempsey running around. Yeah, because he got shot by that arrow and all. You know.
And will he have the arrow in his head?
You know, I'm not sure. That'd be kind of funny, wouldn't it?
Like
that
Steve
old
Martin,
gag. Yeah,
know?
like that old gag. What's that arrow?
Just because he's a ghost doesn't mean he doesn't have a sense of humor.
That is true. You might just run around that arrow just to go, oh, I got a splitting headache. But yeah, that is, of course, your haunted road guide kind of thing. Now, there's a weird story going around. And it's a little on the racy side, so anyone that's got small children, go and not shut off the radio, but turn it down for the next few minutes. Women absorb, get this, I don't know if you read this at all. Women absorb and retain DNA from every man they've ever had sex with.
I just saw that. How weird is that?
That is weird. Women retain and carry living DNA, which is a big difference between the dead stuff and living stuff.
Right.
From every man with whom they have had sexual intercourse, according to a new study by the University of Seattle and the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center.
That gives you pause.
It really does.
Think about
it. It does. You know, because that means you're running around with these guys in your head. Yeah, I wonder how that.
I know. Think how odd that is.
That is weird. I wonder if that influences their thinking.
I guess that is the possible supposition.
Well,
here.
the study which discovered the startling information by accident was originally trying to determine if women who have been pregnant with a son might have more be more predisposed to a certain neurological disease that occurs more frequently in males. And of course, sure, I could get that. I could see that puzzle coming together, because if you did carry a male, you might, you only gave birth to him, so that makes sense. But as a scientist picked apart the female brain, and the study began to veer wildly, of course, as it turned out the female brain is even more mysterious than we ever thought. The study found that female brains often harbor male microorganisms, from us guys, or in other words, the presence of the male DNA that originated. There we go, from another individual. That is so strange, man. Wow,
it is. Well, think of the guy going, "You'll never get me out of your head."
Yeah,
as
and
he gets dumped.
exactly.
And he's right.
And that's all women now. It's not just the ones that have been. They also studied brains of women that have never carried children, and they found the same DNA. Yep. So 63% of women carry male DNA cells that live in their brains, that are actively living in their brains. Obviously, researchers want to know where the male DNA came from. Anyone's care to guess? Of course, the article says from the woman's father. No, not your daddy. Nope, it's who you've had sex with. That is exactly how it happens. You absorb a certain amount of their DNA through the act of lovemaking, and they will be with you forever, like Eric pointed out. Forever!
Oh, my heavens. That is
quite
a thought.
Strange.
I wonder if this will in any way change behavior.
I do not know. I did not. It's just weird. It's just weird. I mean, it's a strange story. All in all, it's weird because I never thought about that. That means I'm influencing the brains of several women.
Yes.
Yeah, we all are, all of us guys, so.
There's a few out there.
I wasn't always a nice married guy, I used to be a stallion, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But anyhow.
Rock it out.
I'm
when
just
in
kidding,
doubt,
of course.
whip it out.
Yeah, when in doubt, I whip it out. That's right. If I say hi, she says hi back. It's a good time to whip it out. Then again, that would explain.
Because there's doubt. There's doubt.
Exactly. That would explain why I've been shot at several times. But anyhow, I'm kidding, of course. Total joke. That is a strange story, and we'll have to keep looking at more evidence as that comes out, because it just seems strange.
Very, very strange.
But
I mean, it may explain some things,
Yeah,
I mean,
might.
if you look at the long history of human mores and myth, I mean, for the most part, it's always been perceived. I mean, obviously, lots of exceptions throughout history, but in general, that we've always had this ideal that women would be virgins when they get married. Maybe this has something to do with where that came from.
What do you do? Now you go and you check them out. They check them for DNA before you marry them. I want to make sure you're not carrying another guy's DNA.
I don't know. That may be possible.
It might be. But we have to run a break.
Down the road.
Yeah, down the road. You just never know. We have to run a break. We come back. You got your America's Most Haunted headlines coming at you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
It's hard to believe it was just last night when it all hit me. I fell on the floor and watched the ceiling fan go round.
Hey, you're listening to After Hours AM, and if you're listening to us via podcast, make sure you like us, follow us, review us, tell your friends about us, tell grandma about us, and keep listening.
This is Jen McGowan, founder of Wayward Souls Promotions, a company dedicated to helping individuals, teams, radio shows, and others that are seeking exposure for their individual events, conventions, and shows. We offer a wide variety of advertising, such as web-based article, social media posts, podcast advertisement, and so on. Contact us at paranormalpromotion@gmail.com, visit us on Facebook at Wayward Souls Promotions, and visit our website at www.waywardsoulspromotions.com.
Anavar Media LCC is a dedicated team of professionals committed to helping business development scale and protect their websites, mobile applications, enterprise software solutions in the Northeast Ohio area. Locally owned since 2012, our client-centered values truly sets Anavar apart. Contact us today to learn how you can get 25% off your first project. Call them at 234-380-4852. Again, that's 234-380-4852, or visit them at www.anavar.com. Again, that's www.anavar.com.
It's your ideas, work, and creativity that make it your yard. At ACE, we're here to help with hoses and sprinklers to nurture growth, gardening tools for the shape of good things to come, even the right fertilizer and bug killers to make the grass a little greener. You'll find it all now at ACE, your place, with everything you need for your yard, plus helpful advice, almost like we're right there. ACE,
the helpful place.
You're listening to After Hours AM. Do you have a question for the guests or even the host? That's really easy. Go ahead and email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Are you feeling like picking up the phone and being part of the show? Call us at 612-326-6874, 612-326-6874. Come be part of the madness.
You're just sitting there, all high and mighty in your diaper. If anything, you need me. You're a baby.
Come on, Mouse.
Don't you dare take Miles. You can take the children, but you leave me my monkey.
And welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. It is time for America's Most Haunted Headlines, brought to you by Eric Olsen over there at America's Most Haunted, toiling away, putting out great content. And if you're listening for the very first time, because actually, Eric, we got a couple new affiliates that are joining us tonight.
Fantastic.
So if you've never visited us over America's Most Haunted, you're going to have to do that. You're going to check it out. He is just banging out some great articles, really cool stuff, plus you can listen to the show, and definitely it's worth your time to check it out. Come on over. And in the meantime now, if you are listening to us live, why don't you go ahead and go on over to Twitter. And if you're not a member of Twitter, even if you are, search out AM Haunted to come follow the feed with us. Join, 457,000 other followers. and let's go down this little list together, these cool headlines.
Yes, the America's Most Haunted Twitter feed, and Facebook too for that matter. All things paranormal, spooky, and amazement. Now, small caveat, normally I'm pumping out 10 to 15 tweets, same number of posts every day on Facebook and Twitter. But given the recent events, had a lot of time working on things with my parents and health and whatnot. So been a little light lately, but we'll be getting back to normal. I am absolutely focused on it. I love it. I miss it when I don't do it, and I am absolutely committed to my normal routine, 10 to 15 tweets and posts at least every day, and we'll be getting back to that very soon. And so here we go. As you mentioned, and I only say this because my tweet actually has a super cool guy trailer for the show, the Rob Lowe and Sons show, Pursuing the Paranormal, the new reality series on A&E, the Lowe File. So if you click through from the tweet, you can see the trailer.
Very cool, and I'm hoping to get a screener soon.
Oh, yes.
From the fine folks over there, A&E.
They're our buds.
They are our buds.
Absolutely going to be. I am committed tomorrow, even though I will very likely, like today, be at the hospital all day. But I'm going to have my computer with me. I did today, but there was just too much going on, so I couldn't really do any computing. But tomorrow, I shall, and I am absolutely committed, my friends, to sending out all kinds of cool guy requests to get some of these amazing guests for some of these shows coming up. And by the way, we should mention is it 2 weeks or is it 3 that we will have Nick Groff and Elizabeth Saint?
I thought it was 2 weeks from now.
I'm going to look it up, so make sure I don't screw it up, which has been done before, because, I could be a dummy. But anyway, nonetheless, yes, very excited about that. And that'll be a great show. He is one of our great pals, and we love working with him. It's actually 3 weeks. It's on the 20th.
Cool.
So that will be amazing. And by the way, we just confirmed, literally as we were talking just now, one of the shows, one of the really kind of amazing true crime documentaries, which is Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. And I just heard from the director and producer, and she would love to be on the show next Wednesday.
Cool.
So Clarissa will be very excited about that. So we got next Wednesday covered. So all is well. Back to the Twitter feed, my friends.
Well,
I love this picture. Look at this floating skull. Now, this is an artist's recreation.
Well, I was going to say, that looks a little Photoshop to me. I don't even have to run that through any of the software. I can tell you right now. That's not real.
Yeah, probably not. But it comes from a description from our good pals over at Phantoms and Monsters.
What a dirty desk.
Of someone who had this very experience as a youngster and tells a very vivid tale of it. And this is what was illustrating the telling of the story. I thought it was both kind of creepy and cool, but also hilarious because it looks so dumb.
It does. It's cool looking, but I suppose we should really back up, talk about your very first tweet, and that's our guest tonight.
We haven't even mentioned.
We haven't even mentioned.
Yeah,
our
you were
guest tonight.
saying that one of your stories from the last half hour was going to be a little salacious. Well, the show tonight, the interview tonight at 10 p. Eastern is going to be quite salacious. We are covering the steampunk Victorian burlesque extravaganza, live extravaganza called the Soiled Dove, which runs just one more weekend, this coming weekend, in San Francisco, Alameda, actually. And we'll be talking with the founder of it, Mike Gaines, who not only runs this cool, it's an oddity show, and it's hearkening back to the gold rush and the Barbary Coast and all that. But the founder, Mike Gaines, who we're talking to, has had some really cool ghost experiences in some of the places that they've worked.
Really? See, that's always cool. We get not only a cool guest, but then a cool guest with cool stories. It always makes it so much fun.
Yes, so we're looking forward to that. Just coming up in about 20 minutes. All right, we all know who Stephen Hawking is.
I might know that guy. Isn't he kind of a startup guy? Isn't he just, one of the physicists out there?
He just came around, yeah. He's starting to go up and they're starting to spot his name here and there.
Here and there.
He's a social media guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Stephen Hawking, the world's most famous physicist, who unbelievably is still alive. I mean, this guy has lived something like 30 years longer than anyone else with ALS in the history of the world.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Unbelievable. And he continues to function and communicate, even as he crumbles down. And I'm not trying to be mean, but he reminds me of when you leave the jack-o'-lantern out, and about a month later, that's what you find.
He does. I knew a buddy of mine actually met him, and we were talking. I said, well, what was it like to meet Stephen Hawking? He says, it was kind of weird. And I said, well, why is that? He says, because everything, he sounds like a robot, number one. And you can't help but stare at him. Because he's all contorted, his face, you try to be,
looking.
Yeah, you try to be respectful and everything because he is a brilliant, brilliant person.
Sure, he's a genius.
A genius, but, you can't get past the whole, hello, nice to meet you.
Well, I think he's down to communicating, with blinking his eye?
I think so, yes. A few years ago, he happened to meet him at some type of event. But yes, again, as great as he is, unfortunately, he was struck down entirely too soon in life with ALS. It was really, really bad. And, okay, man, All
right, so anyway, he is working on a teeny, tiny, but very fast, unmanned, obviously, spacecraft that could reach what is now being proclaimed the second Earth. It's this nearest planet that may be Earth-like.
Yeah.
It's the nearest star, right? Alpha Centauri. And so he's working on a spacecraft that could get there in only 20 years.
In only 20 years. So, really, cosmically speaking, that's blazing fast.
Well, to go, what? I think it's 4 light years away.
Yeah, that's...
And his craft is going at, 20% the speed of light. So that's why it would take 20 years. But really, that's pretty amazing.
Boost it up to speed of light. And then,
then come back and talk.
Yeah, exactly. Until speed of light happens.
We got to pump it up to that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we love photographs. We love those cool, weird, scary nature. And lightning is always so amazing. And look at this purple sky.
That is so cool.
Munich.
That is really cool looking.
And it's raining, so it's purple
rain. Hey, I knew a guy that sang a song about that.
I think you did.
I
think you've mentioned that.
Yeah, Prince was his name. He sang that song.
Oh, there's a guy who went way too young.
Oh, way too young. And more music to put out. My Lord, they found just oodles of new music in his vaults.
What a creative mind. Talk about genius. Amazing.
Gone too soon. And
then we lost both he and David Bowie in the same year.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a hit to rock and roll. Losing both of those in the same year.
That's a brutal year.
Yeah.
Those really are two of the greats. I mean, you're talking two of the, top 10 maybe?
You got these two that pass away way too early, but yet boy bands somehow live. I know. Where's the fairness
Have you seen
in
that commercial with Boys to Men?
I have.
Oh, isn't that hilarious? At the hardware store?
No,
I'm sorry, at the pharmacy.
Yeah. And then they got the new show out there, the making of the boy band. Oh my God, just go away, boy bands. Just go away.
They're singing about that diarrhea.
Got
gassy
diarrhea.
side effect.
Yes.
So gassy.
Oh, the Pepto-Bismol commercial with them in it, right?
It is so funny.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Boy, while there's all this amazing stuff going on in astronomy and all these discoveries out in space, we're also having all kinds of amazing discoveries right here on Earth. Archaeology has just exploded too. Here's the latest. I mean, there's something every day. The earliest yet found Egyptian hieroglyphics, over 5,000 years old, have been found in Egypt, obviously, and perfectly preserved.
Huh. That's cool looking. It looks like a bunch of birds standing around their hieroglyphic, though.
I believe that's what they are.
You know. I'm sorry. They could have used a little bit better artistry, though. I'm not really convinced those are birds.
Well, yeah, I know. It's stylized.
Yeah, well, considering they're using a rock to make this, they did a pretty damn good job.
They did. We got to give them credit. Give them credit where credit is due.
Yep.
Even if it has nothing to do with ancient aliens.
Exactly. We'll still give them credit.
All right. Now, I know you're not a Harry Potter fan, but we just hit I can't even believe this, the 20th anniversary of the release of the first Harry Potter book.
Yeah, how rich is this J.K. Rowling by now, too?
She's a billionaire.
Could you imagine, Eric, if you need to think of a mythical place like Harry Potter?
I do.
And
I'd
write
love
this.
to come up with that.
I write it because, come on.
You too can be a billionaire.
Yeah, you too can be a billionaire. Just come up with an idea, wizards and stuff like that, and you too can make a mint.
It is remarkable, but it's not just doing that in general, because there's thousands of books like that.
Yeah.
It's doing it as well as she did it and striking a chord.
Well, I don't
really has struck a chord worldwide.
I don't know her very well. I don't know her work very well. Was she a writer before she did this? Or she just decided
but not published. She was literally she was on welfare. She was a single mother on welfare when she finished the first book.
Really? See, I was curious about whether she just decided, I'm going to sit down on my computer and start typing. And where it goes, let's see.
But she had been working on it, and she took it very seriously. So, it wasn't like she was just fooling around. But, yeah, she was literally on welfare, single mother.
Wow.
When she finished that first book.
I bet you, she's laughing now.
She is doing very, very well. And it has continued. First, all the books did remarkably well, and continue to do so. Then all the movies. Now she's kind of kicked it up again.
Hold on
she wrote the play, which was opened on London. And
wow, she's hot.
She's hot.
She's hot on top of it.
Hot.
J.K. Rowling's not a bad-looking woman.
She's not, especially because she's getting a little bit older now, too.
Yeah, wow.
So anyway, the reason I mention that is there's a really cool slideshow of every single Harry Potter cover in English. So both American and UK covers, two different publishers. And, of course, they put out various versions of the books, too, and variant covers. So this is every single cover that has been released in English of the Harry Potter books. Really cool to see all in one place if you're a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Wow. She's kind of a cutie. Yes, getting back to...
Look at this GIF here. I'm digging this. I love it.
That is cool.
Sun. Look how close. That's an actual photograph of the sun.
Man, that is right up close and personal. That old sun.
Or I guess it's video. I'm sorry, of the sun. All right. So the scientists have been wondering forever, what is the actual source within the sun of the explosive plasma jets that shoot out thousands of miles?
Yeah.
And they have finally figured it out. It comes from really intense pressure deep within the sun, and it's squirted out, basically.
Yeah, it's a solar flare, isn't it? That's exactly
It's extruded. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a solar flare, and those are actually very deadly to us.
They can be, yes.
Oh, yeah. Get the one shooting our way, life as we know it's over.
All right, now, this one's cool just because, it's Salvador Dali, the great surrealist and one of the oddest artists of the last
He was a different duck.
Very different. And he had no official children. And his body is now going to be exhumed. He died in 1989 to do a paternity test.
Wow.
This woman, who is a clairvoyant, by the way, claims that she is the daughter of Salvador Dali.
I see the resemblance, I guess, if you look hard enough.
Sure.
You know, but then again, you know, who knows? What do you think, Eric?
Well, I guess there have been rumors for a long time. This was an out-of-wedlock affair, and there's been rumors for a long time. And it's not real shocking. What's pretty surprising, though, is that a judge has agreed to exhume him, because that takes a lot, you know.
Yeah. It does. It does take a lot.
Up.
Yeah, because they're going to disturb his grave to get some DNA to prove whether or not she's the heir, basically. I suppose she's after his fortune is what she is.
Oh, probably that's part of it.
You know, because he made a lot of money, and still his estate is still making money.
Oh, sure.
So if she can prove that she's the only one, his only heir, that would give her the money.
Yep.
And so, you know, that makes total sense. Hell, I'll submit a DNA test. Why not? You just never know.
I am guessing that is a significant part of the deal.
Yeah, if it came out he was my daddy, my mother has some explaining to do.
Exactly. All right, here's another space shot. I love this. This is from, I said it in the tweet. Let's see. 160 miles up from Mars. So this picture was taken from 160 miles above Mars. If you click on the picture, it expands. It gets a lot bigger. See the little tiny blue dot in the middle of that picture?
Yeah.
That's the rover.
Wow. Man.
That's Curiosity rover.
I'm surprised they haven't found any aliens yet.
Just plugging away on Mars, doing
its thing, hanging out, you know.
Yep, I'm still here.
Enjoying the weather. You
guys still paying attention to me? I'm here on Mars.
Rolling around for no good reason. You know, like, if you're not going to work,
occasionally digging something up or whatever.
Yeah. God, that is...
All right, have you seen The Strain? Have you seen that show? The vampire show?
I have seen The Strain.
All right, so doesn't this dog...
That's an ugly flipping dog, okay?
The world's ugliest dog.
That
in
is ugly.
Where he's flapping his... Or I guess she's a she. Where she is flapping her jowls. Doesn't she look like one of the vampires?
She does. She does. I see the resemblance, and that is one ugly dog. Oh.
But
oh. If my dog looked like that, I'd shave its ass and teach it to walk backwards.
Maybe that's what happened here.
Very well could be. Who knows? That's just hauntingly ugly.
Yeah. So exactly, haunting. That was my thought. All right. So now, speaking of vampires, even Disney Junior. Now this isn't the Disney Channel. This is Disney Junior. Is getting in on the Vampire Act with a new series called Vampirina, and it's with Lauren Graham and James Van Der Beek, who are both stars and veterans of many, many big-time sitcoms, TV series. It's the Gilmore Girls, of course, and Dawson's Creek, to mention others. Those two are the stars of, and they'll be the parents, apparently, of this vampire girl called Vampirina, and this will be on Disney Junior in the fall.
Interesting.
Just a cute little vampire girl.
Just a cute little vampire girl. Just sitting there enjoying her vampire self.
All right, skipping down a little bit here. Look at this picture that was claimed to be some kind of interdimensional vortex appearing over Sacramento.
Wow. So they're claiming, it looks like there's a guy running in there, but that's just purely pareidolia.
It really does. It looks like someone running across the moon.
Are you sure that's just not super close to look at the moon?
I don't know what it is, but I'm doubting it's probably an interdimensional
Yeah,
vortex.
I don't think it's that. It could be, what's another one that we see really close? Mercury? Was that the one that looks real close once in a while?
Yeah, but it's not that big.
No. I wonder what the hell that is. And that is from Destination America, right? Who put this one out?
It's from The Hauntist.
Okay. So
That's their blog over at our buds at Destination America.
Interesting. I should find out whether that almost seems Photoshopped to me.
It does, but I guess it really is a real picture.
Wow.
But I believe it was brief, and I think they've actually kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
Let's see. So what is it? It's not an interdimensional vortex. Let's see. Who said what here? Scientific experts such as Caltech astrophysicists. This event was the real deal, so it was not photoshopped. But let's see. I'm trying to find. They actually don't tell us here what it was. Oh well. I'm sure that elsewhere it is explained if you clicked through from there.
Dark Tower movie.
Stephen King.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an amazing picture, isn't it?
Yes, great book. Have you ever read the Dark Tower books?
I have not.
They're really good. So if the movie can even hold a candle to the book, it'll be great. But
and it is coming. It's kind of like a supernatural western. I guess it's been described.
Yeah, because that's what the Dark Tower kind of is.
Right.
It's. We will see how true they are to the books. And really, some of his best works was Dark Tower. Huge series. Several of them. I want to say
Matthew McConaughey is the bad guy.
Oh, that should be all right then. Matt McConaughey plays a pretty good bad guy when he wants to.
He does. He's intense. He
really is. And did you ever see Wolves of Wall Street?
Oh yeah.
Where he's going,
Yes. Yeah, he was great in that.
I do that now.
That was an intense movie. Boy,
I do that all the time right before shows. No, I don't.
Get yourself all psyched up.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the good guy defending the Dark Tower, defending the whole universe, I guess, is Idris Elba.
Yeah, he's been on a few movies and shows. So
he's been on a lot, and they keep talking about him being possibly the next Bond.
Now, that would be groundbreaking. We have not had a black or African-American Bond yet. Or a woman Bond, for that matter.
That is also true.
So that'll be
her
interesting.
name would no longer probably be James.
No, it'd be Janet.
I guess you're right.
Janet Bond.
Janet Bond. Oh, Janet Bond.
Yeah. Hello,
all right,
Governor.
one more
All
gift
right.
here, and this is supposedly the youngest moon ever photographed. Just 18 hours old. Look at that. Barely. It's a little teeny tiny sliver.
Little. Oh, he's so cute. It's his baby pictures.
It's a little sliver. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. That
18
sliver.
hours old.
That's it. 18 hours old and be around for billions of years.
Well, yeah. All right. Last one. We got to toss this one out here quick like a bunny. Have you heard of the Beast of Gauvedon in France?
No, actually I have not. That's a new one on me.
This is a real story. Now, of course, we don't really know what it was. A lot of speculation that it was a werewolf. It was probably, now they're thinking, I mean, these deaths were documented. There were at least 100 people killed in this region of France in only a few years. I mean, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. That's a ton of people. And they were killed by wolves.
Exactly.
But wolves get hungry.
Wolves do get hungry.
And we're slow. And we're soft.
This is a heavily wooded area, and there were,
we're
kind of isolated. Yeah. And the theory now is it wasn't a single beast of any kind. It wasn't a werewolf. It wasn't a single wolf. It was a series of wolves.
Yeah, the pack. I'm sure. Very large pack.
Of wolves.
And I'm telling you, being a woodsman, being a hunter, we are slow and we are soft. We're the perfect prey.
We are, although we're often armed.
That is the equalizer right there. But without that gun, we're nothing in the woods.
All right. Well, we still have time. So that's a great story. So you get pick up the facts on that one. That is
You got
super cool.
a minute and a half.
All right. Let's do it. One more. So I found this to be hilarious. All right. So we've all heard about Vlad the Impaler's castle, right?
Yes.
Over there in Romania. And it's called Poenari Castle. Well, right now, no humans can visit the castle because it's been taken over by a mother bear and her cubs.
You can't go to the castle because
she has been chasing away humans with authority.
I am surprised that their local Department of Natural Resources has not tranked her and the young one and got her to safety.
Well, you would think there would be some, resolution.
You would think so because I feel bad for the bear.
Well, sure.
You know, they don't. That's their habitat. They're like, what the hell are you doing here? So, you know, yeah, that's cool. That's kind of funny, though. Can you imagine going there as a tourist? Let's go up there. Oh, my God, it's a bear. Raw, and that's it.
Because, that's hence the cliche about mother bears. They are very protective.
They really are. They get a little angry if you threaten or even come around their young. They get a little crazy. They do not mess around. But we got to run to Fox News. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Mike Gaines from the Soiled Dove. You're going to want to hear all about that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Foreign flights could be grounded for not following the rules. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. These are new rules announced today by the Homeland Security Secretary. Fox's Gernal Scott live with the details.
Jane, Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly's plan primarily includes upgrading passenger checks, airplane scrutiny, and tighter scrutiny on large electronics. It will also focus on severely restricting those airlines that won't comply with safety upgrades. Secretary Kelly says the rationale is simple.
Unless we all raise our security standards, terrorists who see commercial aviation as the greatest takedown will find and attack the weakest link.
Secretary Kelly says the enemy is adaptive and forces us to adapt as well, but protect the 2,000 or so daily international flights that land in the U.S. daily, Jane.
Thanks, Gernal. More healthcare protests in the nation's capital and more arrests. At least 40 taken into custody today in Senate office buildings. The demonstrators charged with crowding, obstructing, or incommoding if they refuse to leave when ordered to by Capitol Police. President Trump cautiously optimistic about an Obamacare replacement bill.
A day after Senate Republican leaders scuttled plans for a vote on healthcare reform this week, the president said today, quote, "We're going to have a big surprise." Previously, he said he'd be disappointed if something wasn't worked out before congressional lawmakers were to leave for the holiday weekend. But today, sources tell Fox News a revised effort to tackle Obamacare could be ready by the end of the week.
Fox's Kevin Cork at the White House. This developing story reports of an explosion of some sort in a residence hall at Murray State University in western Kentucky. Richmond Hall housing nearly 270 students. Fox News, fair and balanced. A Canadian citizen cannot get out on bail in Michigan, a judge making that determination today in a case that's being called an act of terrorism.
Amor Fatui is denied bail, accused of stabbing Airport Police Lieutenant Jeff Neville in the neck last week at Bishop International Airport in Flint. Witnesses say during the attack, he yelled Allahu Akbar, Arabic for God is great, and muttered it again in court a couple of times from behind a medical mask. He's 49 years old, a native of Tunisia, living in Montreal, Canada. A defense attorney did not object to keeping Fatui in jail, saying he'd be held by immigration authorities anyway if he was let out. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Due to take effect tomorrow morning, the Trump travel ban. The Supreme Court signed off on its partial reinstatement, ruling visitors from 6 mostly Muslim countries must prove they have a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the U.S. before they're allowed into the country. Government lawyers now trying to figure out just what sort of proof they'll need. Wildfires burning in several western states, 20 said to be uncontained. Firefighting airdrops had to be grounded in Arizona, and not because of weather conditions.
A drone flew too close to firefighting efforts near Flagstaff, Arizona, leading to a partial delay for aerial crews trying to put out the flames. The fire was later fully contained, but it is reflective of a growing problem for emergency and fire officials. The National Interagency Fire Center reports that there were 41 instances of drone incursions in 2016. It is illegal to impede or interfere while firefighters are trying to extinguish a blaze. Flying a drone can be included in that definition, according to a federal statute. If found responsible, drone enthusiasts can expect to pay a fine or appear in court. Andrew Kraft, Fox News.
Who didn't sing this song at a sporting event? Usually when the opponent loses, TMZ reporting Gary DiCarlo, lead singer of the group Steam, has died of lung cancer. He was 75. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News Radio.
Welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, right along with me,
Eric Olsen.
And Eric, man, we have a great show on tap tonight, and
I'm
really
excited.
It's gonna be cool to talk about this, and of course, you will clue us in on who is our our guest tonight, and whip it on us, big man.
I shall. We will be speaking with Mike Gaines. Vau de Vire Society presents The Soiled Dove, an immersive, circus-infused dinner theater set in the reincarnation of San Francisco's ribald, spooky Barbary Coast red light district. From Mike and Shannon Gaines, co-creators of the Edwardian, New Bohemia New Year's Eve, and Lagunitas Beer Circus, comes an event that titillates in every sense, my friends. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Set amid the thematic backdrop inspired by San Francisco's notorious Gold Rush era guests delight in an engaging evening filled with danger, decadence, world-renowned performance, and an innovative culinary extravaganza worthy of royalty. Ooh, that sounds like fun. I want to go. However, only 2 more nights, my friends. It's Fridays and Saturdays, been running since June 9th, but the last 2 are tomorrow and Saturday. So you got to check it out if you're in the San Francisco area, The Soiled Dove. Check it out. And of course, we got links on the site to their site and place to buy tickets and on and on and on. Also, really detailed description about the show. But let's talk a little more about Mike and his wife, Shannon, who couldn't be with us this evening. Founded in 1997 by husband and wife team Mike and Shannon Gaines, the San Francisco-based entertainment company Vau de Vire Society has been titillating crowds around, there's that word again, around the world with its unique brand of interactive and thematic art, dance, and circus events. This avant cabaret community consists of classically trained dancers, some of the nation's most acclaimed acrobats, aerial artists, sideshow acts, fire performers, thespians, no, not thespians, and beautiful circus freaks. The group has been cross-pollinating genres by collaborating with a, very impressive and eclectic variety of world-renowned musicians and DJs in the creation of original stage shows. Notable recent collaborations include the Edwardian Ball, Cirque du Soleil, San Francisco Symphony, Bass Nectar, the Dresden Dolls, Calvin Harris, and the Mad Vibe Orchestra, with live support performances for, check it out, James Brown, hopefully when he was still alive.
Yeah.
Primus.
Wow, that was
50 Cent, Wycliffe Jean, Velvet Revolver, The Cure, and many other highly respected international artists. Welcome to the program, Mike Gaines.
Wow. Gosh, I need not plug anything more.
Yeah. It's been a great show. Everything. Yeah, it's been a great show. See you guys. Now, I love the name Soiled Dove because, of course, that's a 18th century horror.
And even a 19th century horror.
19th century
19th century.
Yeah, 19 rather.
Sure.
Yeah, 19. And I got it right away. I get that. I get that. And I started giggling, and my wife looks at me and she says, "Why are you laughing at that name?" Oh, no reason. No reason at all. No. I just find it to be an entertaining name. Yep.
It's amusing.
Yep. It's amusing, and that's what it needs to be.
Yes, of course.
Why don't you...
Mike, just tell us where it all came from.
Yeah, man.
How did all this come about? And goodness, what an interesting background you have. Just give us your tortured, winding, and ultimately successful path that has led to the Soiled Dove.
Wow. Goodness. Where did it all begin? My wife and I, my wife being a dancer, myself being an athlete turned film connoisseur, at least the production side of it. I worked in feature films for 6 years out of college. And again, my wife being a dancer, we just combined after I got done with my college career in football, which is another story. We focused on performance, and we assembled a bunch of our friends in '97 and put on thematic shows before we would have a dance party. And that was all in a building that we purchased in Colorado, a 104-year-old Gothic revival church that we converted to a performance art theater. So I'm bouncing around
Very
a little
cool
bit on
location.
tangents, but pardon?
That's an odd location. That's a great location.
Yeah. We went back. We're from Southern California. We went to Colorado. I was going to go to medical school, so we hung out in Colorado for a year so I could get in-state tuition. And in that year, I delved deeper and deeper in film and started working on some larger production films, and really felt like art was the way to go rather than the medicine path that I had pursued earlier. So we bought a 100-year-old Gothic revival church and opened a performance art theater venue, a rehearsal space, and sort of cut our teeth in '97 out there. Decided that it was maybe a little bit conservative for the content that we provide. So we 4 years later came to San Francisco, where what we did paled in comparison to all the amazing crazy that happens out here and the freedom of art.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
They're a little more open-minded than a lot of places, to art. And that's the thing. Some places are a little bit too Bible thumper, I suppose, for your kind of art. And so you had to go to where you have like-minded people, and you could actually spread your wings and get this off the ground. And quite honestly, I think the name you guys chose, again, was really eye-catching, and it obviously makes people curious. Well, what the heck's this all about? And it's the hook, and you guys are really good at that hook. Not only that, but it's a hell of a show. I was watching some of the videos you guys have out there, and of course I can't attend. I'm sitting here in northern Minnesota. I don't think I can get there in time, but I'd love to attend someday just to see all the spectacle that is the soiled dove. Now, when you said you guys started in Colorado, moved your way back to California, hit San Francisco, what kind of reception have you guys had with the soiled dove? Has it been wonderful? I mean, I would imagine you have a packed house probably about every night.
We do, and it's really the atmosphere and the environment that we're creating it in is a real novelty. Where I'm on the water's edge right here. I'm 50 feet. First of all, I'm in a 12,000, and I'm here now. We just ended rehearsals, and I'm all alone in a 12,000 square foot big top circus tent, Italian big top circus tent, sitting right on the water's edge with San Francisco. I see it being swallowed by fog right now across the bay.
Man,
and so
that
this
is cool.
atmosphere, it's really cool. It's we're on an old naval base. Yeah. And we're sitting right on the tarmac that's like 2 miles long. We're the only thing out here.
Now, what made you guys want to go to the big top, the big circus tent, rather than a fixed venue?
Because we bounce around. We really feel we did lose our venue in San Francisco. We got priced out by condos. So
damn condos.
At that, and that was about a year and a half ago. And once we lost our space, which we had run the Soiled Dove, this will be the 4th year that we've run it, just really a month at a time every year. But once we lost that space, we just, but what do we do now? Well, let's have our own space and our own environment, and we're completely off the grid out here. We create our own grid with generators, everything, just an environment that is, and it's a creative place. It's a destination for sure, and I think that's a big part of the success of it.
Yeah,
being in a circus tent.
Exactly, and I'm looking at this and look at the videos and look at the stills that were provided by your PR people. Great PR people, by the way, really top notch, giving us everything that we needed to do the show. Again, we never, you know what, Eric, we never praise the PR people that work so hard. So
well,
there
we
you go,
don't honor
PR.
it enough. That's for sure.
There you go, PR people.
Let's raise a glass then to Corinne Kahn.
That's right. That's right. They are the unsung
person who absolutely kicks ass.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
So here's to Corinne.
Exactly,
and,
Corinne.
And to all the others that we haven't mentioned in the past.
That's right. But it's a recreation, really, of the Barbary Coast era. And when I look at these pictures and the videos, man, you are straight up going back in time. And
thank you.
You know, and it really when you go back in time, what era really was the Barbary Coast during its heyday? When was that?
The 60s. Everything after the 49ers struck gold. That's when San Francisco started exploding. It was a sleepy town of 300, I think, in maybe 1820s, and then just like a few years later, it had 20,000 people here. I guess it would be right around 47, actually. And then 49 struck gold, and it just became a metropolitan area it was complete lawlessness. The infrastructure didn't keep up with the populace. So it was a wild era. It was the crazy Wild West, but on the coast out here.
I can just imagine.
It was, it's just crazy, it was of 20,000 people. I think there was a murder every night, and that's a pretty crazy time. Of 20,000, every night has something like that. So it was gambling, whoring, and along with that, after time, which we're playing 1890, San Francisco, so we could actually have some electric light bulbs in the house, and it sort of being appropriate. That was the year electricity, and I came into San Francisco. So we play it to where this is a more refined establishment, a sanctuary from all the crazy, reckless behavior that's happening outside of its doors. So we play it a little bit more polished than what we're glamorizing, which was really probably horrific for everybody,
Because I've watched documentaries about
it. It works better in memory, as most things do.
Yeah, and the advent of indoor plumbing was a big boon for San Francisco, by the way.
What was you said?
Indoor plumbing was a big boon for San Francisco. I remember sitting through history class, and that was the thing. They were talking about what it was like to live back, like in San Francisco when they first struck gold, because when all the people showed up, there was no infrastructure for that many people in that little town.
None.
So it was a tent city forever, and it was just dirty and filthy, and and really violent. Really, you're right. It was really an absolutely violent time.
So, Mike,
the New York gangs came in, and it became violent with all of the merchant ships then coming in from China, and it was a crazy time from the history that I've researched. So we play that, but we play it up. The novelty, I think, of the Solo Dove 2 is all of our characters. We have a cast of 30. We have a full orchestra that accompanies the entire event, and again, it's dinner theater. So all of the cast are actually the waiters, the servers, with the meals. So, and in character, you're the bumbling drunk fool that just delivered you your short rib is really one of the world's best acrobats. So those are just some fun characterizations that they're able to play around with before they wow you with their amazing feats.
What is your capacity? What kind of crowds do you get?
Well, this is the capacity of the venue is 1,000, but we're about 500 feels max in here.
That's a lot.
That is a
big show.
Big crowd.
Yeah, big venue, and we stop the meals here at 200, and then we have halfway through the night, another crowd comes in after the meal has been devoured, and that crowd is like a general admission crowd, and they see the rest of the show. It's a 4-hour-long show.
Wow. That is a long show.
It's a long one, and it's really a testament to it. We are with keen eye. We were watching how people reacted to the first few shows, and they just still wanted more. There was never anybody having any problem with the length of time, which was awesome. So it becomes, and the longer they stay out here, the more once stepping inside the tent, the more they really feel like it's that era, and that's what we wanted to convey here.
Why don't you kind of walk us through? I know I mentioned in the intro a lot of the different kinds of acts, but why don't you maybe just kind of walk us through maybe, the highlights? Is it the same show, I mean, chronologically, or do you vary it from night to night?
Well, unfortunately, we have to vary it from night to night. Some people aren't available, some musicians that, that changes a bit. We do have a huge cast of a core cast with Vau de Vire Society. So from this production, just to jump around so you get perspective, from this production, we finish this production and then we move on to another production, whether that be a music festival that we host the tent and an environment for 7 days. So all of these core performers go with us from production to production. But so there's a lot of them, and they all can't do their solos every night. So we've been rotating as well, and trying to keep everybody, happy on all sides. And it's just one big, amazing family that Shannon and I have been together for 27 years. And again, Vau de Vire 97, so we're 20 years. Wow.
Yeah. Wow, where's the time go? Now with
you and Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly. Now with Barnum and Bailey off the road, the circus gone, a thing of the past. Any thought of taking this thing on the road?
We have. We do a couple festivals in that we sort of take a production on the road. Not Soil Dub. We haven't, and that is something. I don't know. I don't know if it would play in every city. It's expensive, and it's an expensive ticket too. But the production's it's a pretty big, elaborate production. I could see taking it and then doing it for a couple of nights, and then doing other productions that we have, more dance parties and such that may play better in the city. But yes, we travel around. We have one of our productions, Lagunitas Beer Circus. Last year we took it to a one-day circus environment, a little bit different, of course not thematic, but it's we took that to New York, Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles, San Francisco last year, and this year we're going to travel that around. So we do make it around the country with different events. Vau de Vire Society does.
Well, I'm looking at your prices on the show. Actually, you're not that expensive.
No, I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, if you're going to go to a Broadway play, you'd be dropping $200 easy. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, it's that kind of caliber of a show, and for $50 for that kind of entertainment, you can't go wrong. And then if you want to be part of the dinner on a show, according to the information we got, it's $130. That's
130 for that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
You're right. Yeah, that may not be the deterrent here with taking it on the road, and it's not. So actually, you've inspired me. Done. It's going to happen.
I would at least look into it and see. I think
from our lips to your feet.
I think something like this actually could sell. Really, quite honestly, now that circuses are truly a thing of the past, the major ones. That'd be kind of a cool thing to have come to the major cities. Something cool to see.
Dinner with the Ghost is taken to the road.
Yeah, they did. They have taken to the road Dinner with the Ghost. So I mean, it can be done, Mike. Man, it can be done.
Awesome.
If you build
Thanks for the inspiration.
If you build it, they will come.
And that's what we're doing out here on the water's edge.
I can just imagine that. I'm picturing it. I'm from California. I've been to San Francisco many times. I can just picture sitting there. A little bit away from the city and seeing the fog roll in, and you're right by the water, and it's the middle of summer. You got a huge circus tent there. That sounds just amazing. I used to be a DJ myself.
Cool.
I still do now and then, but for a living. And I used to do a bunch of parties for the frats and sororities in Southern California. So we do all the USC and UCLA and all these stuff. And one of the parties that I always look forward to, speaking of debauchery and danger, is one of them had a theme party like the Arabian Nights kind of thing. We go way out in the desert and absolutely self-contained. You bring the tents, the Arabian tents out there. We brought all kinds of generators. Everything was self-contained. You're out in the middle of nowhere with the wind whipping up and sand blowing in your face and people doing things they would never do anywhere else.
It sounds like Burning Man. That's what you just described, right?
Yeah,
there.
but
You just
30 years ago. That's exactly right.
Yeah, no, that probably inspired Burning Man. You should be getting some visuals off of that.
Yeah. Well, I or the fraternity should. Anyway, we got 5 minutes before the bottom of the hour. Maybe just give us a quick rundown of what people can expect to see in the show. Maybe just take a portion of it and just explain it to us.
And where they can get tickets.
And where they can get tickets. I can throw that out really quick. You can go to thesoileddove.com, thesoileddove.com, or if you're ambitious and you want to spell Vau de Vire Society, it's vaudeviresociety.com, and that will guide you to everything that we have going on, including Soiled Dove. So I'll give you a little, a run of show, how we, it may be on just a quick chronological logistical thing, but I'll give you a little idea. So the dinner guests come in, and there's ambient performances happening. We have a gallery around the space. We have live musical accompaniment happening from a different elevated stage in the room, like the stage right. It's really cool. The setup's really awesome. Different elevations. Audience can go to an elevated platform at the back of the room. They have past appetizers, and once the appetizers are done, they're seated. They choose their own seat, and a performance happens. And a new four-piece string, the Cosa Nostra strings, four-piece band plays on stage while they're served their second and third course and their dessert. And so it's an ambient. There's some circus acts, but we really don't want to pull them away from the food. Food's a big part. And then the big show opener. We actually then open the doors after the dessert is consumed, and we open it to the general admission that come in at 9 o'clock. So 7:30 is the dinner, 9 o'clock. The rest of the people come in, get their drinks in hand, and a big Broadway opening happens. Musical number, the whole orchestra is in, and all 30 performers, 25 performers have choreography around the venue. Our staging areas are awesome. The entire bar is a stage, so it gets cleared a couple times through the night for different antics.
Not antics.
Yeah, it's antics.
I love antics.
And they're titillating
titillating antics. Of course.
Titillating antics. Yeah.
I love that word. So you
and right after the titillating antics, bring in vaginating antics.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a different show. But
yeah, that's a whole nother show, Eric.
Before.
That's
a whole nother show. Yeah. That's a different demographic.
That happens downtown, Eric. Downtown.
So we get right into it. The awesome MC. You see some characters from history, historical characters. Emperor Norton is a big character. That's a famous character here that lived his life thinking that he was the Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico. I don't know if you're familiar with Emperor Norton.
Of course, and it was also a record label.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, yes, record label. A real cool indie label back in the probably 90s.
Ah, nice. Well, they pulled it. So we opened, then we go right into an aerial act. We have a 50-foot, the ceiling's 50 feet, 45, and then a big cupola, they call it. That's it. So it's a monstrous center of the room. It's a circle. it's in the round. We have a small stage in the center of the venue, and then we have a large stage, like a thrust stage, with a proscenium at one side. So we have an aerial act. That aerial act then goes into, a big dance number, ensemble dance number, into an acrobatic sword spinning routine. And that's my wife, and she's
cool.
Just amazing. She does handstands while she spins swords on her feet. And
but dang.
And then
my wife doesn't do that.
No, I couldn't get my wife to do that. I tried
Your wife
once.
doesn't get paid to do that, though. So there's a rationale.
Well, that is true. That is true. Much like other things I've asked her to do, she says, I don't get paid to do that, so, that's not happening.
Good for her.
Yeah. So, good help is hard to find. Just saying.
That is an amazing show. How far are you into it now? Because we got to go to break. How far is that now?
Yeah, cool. We're up to we have burlesque acts, and then we're up to halfway.
All right, well, tell us the rest coming out of the break.
Yeah, after the break, and then we're going to shift gears into the paranormal with Mike as well. So don't worry, that is going to happen. We're going to find out more what you can expect by going to a Soiled Dove show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Something to do with your time, something to do with your peace of mind, something to do alone, nothing to do, so won't you pick up the phone? You turn me on, you tune me in, give it up, go on, here we go again. You turn it up straight to your head, and I never did, make it better off dead. Radio red, I'm radio.
Hey, you're listening to After Hours AM, and if you're listening to us via podcast, make sure you like us, follow us, review us, tell your friends about us, tell grandma about us, and keep listening.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If pop culture is to be believed, roughly 40% of all people are actually vampires, or dating one. Well, undead or not, you can always save on a clean, comfortable room at Motel 6, even if you sleep during the day because direct sunlight turns you into a pile of sparkly coffee grounds. Speaking of which, we have free coffee every morning. You day sleepers may want to go for the decaf. I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
Anavar Media LCC is a dedicated team of professionals committed to helping business development scale and protect their websites, mobile applications, enterprise software solutions in the Northeast Ohio area. Locally owned since 2012, our client-centered values truly sets Anavar apart. Contact us today to learn how you can get 25% off your first project. Call them at 234-380-4852. Again, that's 234-380-4852, or visit them at www.anavar.com. Again, that's www.anavar.com.
This is Jen McGowan, founder of Wayward Souls Promotions, a company dedicated to helping individuals, teams, radio shows, and others that are seeking exposure for their individual events, conventions, and shows. We offer a wide variety of advertising, such as web-based article, social media posts, podcast advertisement, and so on. Contact us at paranormalpromotion@gmail.com, visit us on Facebook at Wayward Souls Promotions, and visit our website at www.waywardsoulspromotions.com.
You're listening to After Hours AM. Do you have a question for the guests or even the host? That's really easy. Go ahead and email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Are you feeling like picking up the phone and being part of the show? Call us at 612-326-6874, 612-326-6874. Come be part of the madness.
That was just the start.
And welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me,
Eric Olsen.
And we are talking to Mike Gaines tonight. And he is, the grand poobah, if you will, of the Soiled Dove production show that you can go catch out there in California. It's a must-see show. Very, very cool. It will take you right back to the 1800s, like you were swear that you're there. That you are back in the 1800s.
Like
and
you're a minor 49er.
Exactly, like you're a
on
minor,
your best behavior.
Yeah, on your best behavior. That's right. We don't want any riffraff. But Mike was describing.
Well, actually, we don't scrutinize that.
Well, you might encourage riffraff. Who knows? But
absolutely we do.
But Mike was describing what it's like to attend one of the shows, and when we left off, he was kind of. We're coming to what, the second act, Eric? What act were we in? Do you remember, sir?
Yeah, we're coming to like the third act, and sporadically we bring the solo act, we bring it back into a big ensemble act. Some people have 4 costume changes through the night, plus they're the servers, of course, for the dinner beforehand. So they're awesome, they're amazing workhorses, and they're badass, and we all we all bleed to make this thing happen. And that's why I think it just gives it such a cool camaraderie and family vibe to it. And it gets them immersed in their character when they're constantly on. And, you'll have a character passed out over a table. You'll have a character jump on top of a table, push food aside. It's very much in your face and casual. It just breaks the ice entirely. So that's the environment, and we're up to act number 3, I think. That is an ensemble act, and it's an act that is Emperor Norton with a monologue and a toast, and he has a bunch of performers around him, and he's describing his vision of this bridge that connected Oakland with San Francisco. East Bay with San Francisco, and that was his idea, and everybody laughed at him on stage because he was laughed off of that concept back when he was alive, and obviously that came to fruition maybe 20 years later, which we now have that bridge. So that's a little character backstory that's offered by the MC on who Emperor Norton is. Everybody here in San Francisco does know who he is. So it's an easy sell. They like it. I think the historical references. Then we move to another aerial performance, a solo aerial performance, and the band showcases different vocalists throughout the night. We have a couple tunes where they take over in some transition time, and showcase their vocalists. Then we go into a burlesque number, so classic burlesque, but unclassic, with the performers are just amazing. From there we have another aerial act, and all of these aerial acts, I'm not doing them justice with just saying an aerial act. They're a rope act and a lyra act. Stephanie and Ikaboo and Shredder, these are all the aerialists in our group, and
Sure.
Danny. So it spans the conventional circus apparatus, but they perform in unconventional ways with their character. Then we wrap it up, I think, with a couple more solos and an ensemble performance to end the night with a song that everybody takes part in the cast and crew, and that's how we flow through it.
Man, very cool. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Are you part of the show?
I am. I'm Shanghai Kelly. Shanghai Kelly was famous for Shanghaiing, which is
Hence the
act
name.
of doping. Hence the name. The act of doping people at bars and then throwing them on the merchant ships, and they would wake up halfway to China under guns, and
Sure.
it's So what their choice is to jump overboard or be a slave until they get back to the States on the next ship back from China to the States. So they were made to work, and those. So I Shanghai people.
Well, that's a hobby. I mean, all right.
Has to do it.
Could you imagine being a real Shanghai? Very, very cool. Sounds really awesome, Mike. Of course, you can go to thesoildove.com and get your tickets, and they range from $50 for general admission. And if you want to eat there and enjoy the meal that was described, that's $130. Really, quite honestly, Mike, not bad prices for what you're getting. And to be honest with you, because I've gone to big Hollywood or big Broadway productions and $300-400 for a general admission ticket. So
sure, yeah,
so really
we,
for that
we thought
caliber,
we thought it is a good deal. To take this tent around. Hesitation was earlier, I think, just to take this tent around and be able to find a parking lot someplace in the metropolitan areas that could handle it. It's an endeavor.
Well, it's a 12,000 square foot? Was that a 12,000 square foot tent?
It is, yeah.
Wow, that's the real deal then. That's the real big top tent.
It is, yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
It's a monster. It's fun.
Yeah, setting it up is an all-day event.
All right, now, Mike, that's amazing. Everyone should go to that show. And when you hit the road, even more everyone's should go to that show. Right here now. Don't forget, if you are in the Bay Area, you only have 2 more performances available tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday night. Go check it out. All right, Mike, you were saying as you were getting started in the biz and some of your earliest locations when you were getting going, as you were talking about earlier in the show, that they might have been haunted.
I'm a pretty practical person, but after purchasing this 104-year-old church in Colorado, which is old in Colorado standards, and it was a Baptist church for many, many years, we sensed some real anomalies that happen. I mean, periodically we would experience the same thing at different nights, and
sure.
And all at once, so we had some backup 5 people at once heard all the doors in the entire church, which there are 16 of them, just like start rattling and then shut.
Wow.
And it was just crazy.
Wow.
That would get my attention.
That doesn't seem like a coincidence or a breeze blowing through.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's a place where a bunch of what we felt akin to too is that there was a lot of souls in that a lot of angst was dropped in this church. A lot of souls were enveloped possibly by heartache in the church, and we just felt that at times. We felt some playful things happening. We would constantly find things in the garbage disposal that were just like the strangest things. A foot from a chair that was upstairs in the library area would appear in the garbage disposal downstairs, 2 floors down. And
Wow.
just so there was some a lot of playful things that happened too.
And the theater and paranormal go hand in hand. A lot of times you hear about big productions and ghost stories with theaters and old churches that turn into theaters, stuff like that. So, really the paranormal and theatrical arts really have, over the years, gone hand in hand. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a ghost story about a haunted theater or a haunted production or this or that.
Sure.
And do you think that maybe possibly, I think personally, the energy that you guys are putting out there performing is like a big beacon to an entity, because that's a lot of energy being emitted to that environment. It's almost like a lot of people say it's like a supercharger for the paranormal. So did you notice paranormal?
I would fully agree. I would fully agree. The new energy, that the only time that kind of really free-spirited energy with myself, and we had 12 people living there in different rooms, and just the creative energy, I think, opened up a lot of what was stagnant in that church, in the building. I think it's building related. I don't know much of paranormal at all, but it's the facility and what the facility what the building has gone through in its history. I think that would make it even more active. And I think historic theaters and churches, I would agree with that, from a layman's point of view.
Especially the historical theater. I mean, I've heard that time
the
and time
Ryman,
again.
the Grand Old Opry. I mean, that's just stinking haunted, polluted with ghosts.
You can't go anywhere without tripping over one in those places.
You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a famous country western singing spirit, and that's the truth, my friends.
Take that to the bank.
Yeah.
You see people going in there with dead cats, and they just start swinging them around.
Fresh tire marks on them.
And people are twanging up a storm.
Yeah, the dead cats and the dead goats and Masonic temples, I would imagine, have a lot of haunted happenings as well.
Yeah.
In any kind of historical building, anything that's had a lot of energy, and it's not just, a lot of people think it's only deaths, because you'll say, "Oh, how could that place be haunted? No one ever died there." But that isn't the point. The point is emotional energy. It's intense emotion of any kind, and that's why it makes so much sense on the theatrical side, because think how much energy goes into performing.
And think about this, Mike and Eric. The church, a lot of times, serves as the city center. That's where everybody kind of meets with each other, is that church. And
of course, especially in the old days.
Yeah, especially in the old days. That makes perfect sense that, a church would have a lot of activity, or at least a lot of residual activity at the very least. But I would bet dollars to donuts that when you guys started to perform, and after every performance, that is when your paranormal would kick up, after the performance.
Any other experiences?
In retrospect, looking at
in places you've been to, and I should ask, I guess even before that, were you able to do any research into that church? I mean, came up with any historical reasons of why it might have been so active?
No, not in that regard, no. But we did definitely research the church, and I felt like it was at a time, too, when that was purchased. It was still the Old West out there, and I'm sure there was just like you said, it's an energy. It's an energy that's like residual, and it just really feels like we opened it up when we started playing and performing, and we converted ghosts, I'm sure, from curmudgeon to, I want to do that when I grow up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like Casper.
Yeah, I want to give that a try.
Yeah,
I want to give that a try when I grow up. That looks like a lot of fun. But like I was saying, the theatrical arts and the paranormal, there's a lot of also superstition in the theatrical arts. Like break a leg. I mean, that actually comes from a superstition that if you wish someone bad, nothing bad will happen to them. That kind of stuff. So, of course, it makes perfect sense. And then when you do the show and a lot of energy, a lot of good things are happening. Now, are you a big believer in ghosts, or or is ignorance bliss in some ways?
Well, I mean, God, I almost live my life. Ignorance is bliss. But it's, I think, and I don't know about the ghost side of things, because I really don't know the definition too much of that. I didn't see anything physical, but really I think it is a collective energy that stays around, and I don't know if that's a form of a person or just something we just can't see with our limited senses.
Well, yeah, I went to this haunted theater years ago. It was down in New Orleans, of all places. I used to go down there for Mardi Gras, and I was talking to one of the main actors, and it's allegedly haunted. And I said, "Hey, you ever see anything weird?" He says, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you ever Well, look into it. He looks at me in all seriousness. He says, "Kid," I was pretty young this time. He's a pretty old actor. He says, "Kid, ignorance is bliss. I don't kick nothing that will kick back." So, that's where that comes from. And so, he says, "I'd really rather not know. If they're happy, I want to keep them happy." Was kind of the thing. Yeah. But, and then, of course, you go from, one thing we didn't touch on is, you went from medical school, getting ready to go to medical school, to doing this. That is such a drastic change of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we never kind of touched on that. I'd like to touch on that. I know we're kind of going way backwards to the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But what got you kind of, a medical student to doing this? I mean, it just sure seems like a 180 shift.
It isn't. There's a correlation here, and I've been thinking about it actually a lot lately. But I came from athletics. I played football through high school. I got a Division I scholarship in football, and I played football in college. And athletics has always been a huge part of my life. So when I found film through my brother, who was a sound mixer for feature films, and I was a boom operator, I sort of got the bug of, wow, I think that this scene could be so much better if the director would only do this, only instill this in them. And so in that time, again, with Shannon purchasing the church, we were going to open a school of film and dance. So that's the performance art. And because I was into film, and we got a lot of star-studded people that endorsed us, and we would open a school of film and dance. And I think the directing bug, I got that through film and through being a boom operator, the closest to the actor kind of thing most of the time, between the camera and the actor. And so when we put together these performances, it really was based upon athletics. Circus is the tricks. It's all athletes. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here, is just athletes. So having that athletic prowess and also then tapping into the characters is what sort of we look for in performers, my wife and myself. So I see the correlation is athletics and my ability to see the athleticism in the performance. And and then Shannon choreographing and just really instilling in every performer the freedom that they're allowed to express themselves without any kind of repercussion. That's sort of what Vau de Vire is. And that's, so I do see the correlation there. That was, athletics and being able to guide that and direct it, and doing it with my best friend of 27 years. It's just all it's working.
Yeah, no, it really is. And you're right. It's all athletics, especially if you watch aerial shows, for instance. I mean, my Lord, the strength and agility that takes is amazing. And dancers. I mean, just the agility and the discipline. Really, they're almost elite athletes. They're right there with elite athletes. So you're right. That is amazing.
They are.
The stuff that they pull off, and they make it look easy while they're doing it, and that's always the craziest part.
Yeah, for sure. And even the burlesque dancers, I think the discipline, that's where that comes in. The ability to perform in various situations and how they react to those, and how they just continue to own their being in performance is it's something I respected. And you throw art into the mix, and the ability to create anything you want to create, any context, any content.
Sure.
That sort of, that lured me away from medicine.
Well, because it's titillating.
It is indeed. Way to bring it back.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's a great story. What position did you play in?
Cool. Outside linebacker.
Oh, so you must be pretty big.
I was, yeah. think I'm one of my only friends that lost 40 pounds since football, and didn't gain it. But yeah, 6'4", 240. I was pretty big.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I played football as well in college, so I hear you. I hear you.
Where'd you go?
Where'd I go? Oh, University of Minnesota is where I played football.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, that's a big program. That's a huge program.
Yeah, well, I'm from here, so, it was a no-brainer. Hey, I'm going to go to U and play football.
Yeah.
But no, I never got I was never at the level you were, with a scholarship and everything else. So that's pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, thank you. And to digress, Shannon was a cheerleader. That's how we met.
Ah, perfect. And you said you're from Southern California. Where in Southern California?
Mission Viejo is where I went to high school, and Shannon and Laguna Beach or Laguna Hills. And we both went to junior college, Saddleback Junior College, for a year. And that's when I got the scholarship. We were already in love. We both went to Wyoming, which for a Southern Californian was
odd.
Culture shock.
Yeah.
Maybe that's inspiring some of the content that I have going on right now with the Soul Dove, actually,
Yeah.
Some of the raucous. Even in the early 90s, it's a Wild West town for sure.
Still is, yeah. If you go there, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been in that area quite a bit, and it's still very wild, still very Western feeling. So, it's
absolutely
still wide open spaces out there as well. So it's an interesting place to be. And that will inspire anybody. If you're uninspired by that, you need to check your pulse.
Yeah, that inspired a lot. Inspired, like, when are we going back to the warmth? It inspired a lot. It's like, holy shit! It taught us how to shoot pool. We learned how to shoot pool. But Wyoming was awesome. It was awesome to us. It's as an athlete, it was really just amazing. They don't have a professional athletic team in Wyoming, so really the football team was. It was just
you ruled the state.
Yeah,
we did. It was great.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
Very cool.
We're down to a few minutes. I did want to tell you, I really admire anyone who's able to go out on their own, and put something together like this, and especially have it last. I mean, you've been doing this for 20 plus years, and that's amazing. I really admire it, and it looks like truly a fantastic show. And my goodness, if I can make the Edwardian ball, there is nothing I would love more. I think that would just be so cool and so fun.
Very cool.
You guys absolutely
congratulations.
Should. Absolutely should. Thank you.
Yeah, great accomplishment.
But you should make it out. I want to make a point here. You should really come out and plan on coming out for Edwardian ball. When you're out here, we can set up some kind of live. We'll find some haunted escapades to go on.
Hey, there you go.
We'll do a live show from a haunted escapade.
There you go.
There's a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And if any ghosts menace us, you can tackle them.
Exactly.
I will.
Exactly. Well, again, if you're in that area, if you're in the San Francisco area, or if you want to get there in time, you can go to thesoiledove.com, buy your tickets, and really they're quite reasonable, in my opinion, for everything you're getting. And have fun and enjoy the show. It's a one-of-a-kind show. It truly takes you back into time where you feel like you are back in the Wild West, and not many things can make you feel that way. But I think it's also the use of a big top. I mean, because back in those days, the big top was really the big thing. No pun intended.
I bet that thing's haunted, too.
The tent is haunted.
I'm crazy. As we're talking, the walls are subtly flapping in this thing, and it really is. Maybe you're conjuring up.
It's alive.
Yeah, it's really living. It's alive. But hey, Mike, thanks a ton for coming on the show, talking with us tonight. Very, very cool stuff. Mike Gaines, everyone. Check out thesoiledove.com. Buy your tickets. But until next time, Eric, we're done, man. So take care of each other, love each other, and, check out the Soiled Dove online. At the very least, check it out online and make it next time. Take care. Thank you for listening to this edition of After Hours AM, and please remember to like us on Facebook and also follow us over on Twitter.